Okay, first off, very happy to see you here. How's everything going?
Yeah.
How's everything going, first and foremost?
Things are good. You know, I could complain, but I won't.
Okay.
So that's that.
Alright, well, just to ask a few questions. Then please tell me if I'm incorrect. I know you are from Cali originally.
Wow, you did research.
I am not kidding when I say I'm
you did research. Born in LA.
Right.
Moved to Orlando when I was 8. Moved to New York at 18. I've been here ever since.
Right, and you went to school in New York, right?
Yeah, I went to SUNY Purchase for undergrad, and then I went to Columbia for grad school.
Okay, so how did you get into hip-hop and music? Period.
I mean, I've always been like a part of a musical family. Like my uncles, and they were all musicians, and my mother is like, you know, she could have been Clive Davis had she not had to go to nursing school. You know what I mean? Like, she's just been a music connoisseur all her life. So I grew up in a house with a lot of music, and then when I, you know, was growing up, my god sister, she had moved from New York, so she had these like Red Alert tapes that she would bring with her, you know, and you know, just putting me onto that. And when I moved to Purchase, you know, to go to school, like, it was an arts school, so there was just, and it was very close to New York too, so there was just a lot of hip hop going on in Cypress, and everybody had turntables in their rooms, and you know, so it was just a really unique place to be. And the folks that were at Purchase didn't just listen to hip hop, like, they lived it, and so that's what put it in a different perspective for me, especially being in New York as well.
Okay, so I guess what were your influences growing up, and you know, tell us the first mixtape, or you know, what's basically brought you to this point as far as where you are in your career?
I've always been like a multifaceted person, so that's why it's funny when people are like, oh man, Diva just be doing too much shit, and it's like, well, even since I was a kid, I wasn't just taking ballet, I was taking tap, jazz, ballet, you know, swimming lessons, piano lessons, acting, you know, there was always like a multitude of things going on, and that's never stopped throughout my life. So now I'm at this point where, you know, I'm continuing to do that, and you know, it's definitely has its frustrating times, but you know, I would say now more than ever, I see things streamlining, and that's really a good feeling.
Okay. You know, now, and you were just talking about how you do a lot. Not only are you an MC, singer, and all that, you also was with MTV2.
Do you see the size of that?
All right, so tell us, you know, how you got into MTV2, and I remember you were doing the TV show on YouTube, like, you know.
MTV2 was just, I met Caduce, and I told him, you know, that I wanted to be on MTV and we need to stay in touch, and so we did. And when the opportunity arose to get me an interview, he kept to his word, and I got an interview, and then I got a show. Diva's Big TV, I was doing Sirius Satellite Radio until like 2007, and when I left Sirius, people kept asking me, you know, to continue putting my opinions out there, and I didn't have an outlet at the time, so I decided to create my own outlet, so that's when we created Diva's Big TV. And, you know, we did 50 episodes, you know, it became like a cult thing, and we actually have recently decided to bring it back, so, you know, look for that coming soon. Diva's Big TV will be on the return.
Okay, sounds good. Now, I'll be honest, when I first, like, caught one of you in your music, I saw you on Def Poetry Jam. I think you were doing 40 MC, which was like stupid dope, and then I caught the song in the video later. Will you be doing more of that, or do you continue to do poetry and things like that?
I do poetry at colleges. I don't do poetry at like open mics or anything like that, but you know, when I get booked to do poetry at different schools, universities, whether it be grade school or whatever, like, I don't turn it down, you know. It's just not something I pursue as a, you know, continuous career move, you know. I'm more musical at this point, you know. If I'm doing live performances, I really like to be able to rock with the band, and you know, that's my ideal. But that's also a doozy too, because you know, you gotta pay the whole band, and that is not easy. So you know, it's definitely been an exercise in patience, having to continue to keep putting out material, just to keep creating that awareness, and eventually, you know, they say that it will turn around.
Okay. Just a couple more questions, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want. When the Floetry situation happened, like, if you could tell us, like, how you felt, like, when, like, did they ask you to become a part, or how did that come about?
Floetry was, Angela Yee was Peoples with their manager, and he hit her and said, yo, do you know anyone that would be, you know, good to replace Natalie? And she suggested me. So I came in and, you know, me and Marsha met, and that was that. We started cooking up some stuff, we went on tour, and I thought it was going to continue, and it just didn't. And, you know, I guess Marsha really just wanted to be a solo artist. You know, that was never really fully relayed to me. But, you know, I'm glad that she's gotten what she wanted, and that the fans have gotten what they wanted, which is to hear her sing. So that's what's up. And for me, you know, that experience of being on the road and, you know, doing the Floetry thing, I learned a lot. So I'm definitely thankful for that experience.
Alright, now your current project, Madam Monochrome, I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. It's definitely one that I listen to a lot. If you could tell us how that came to fruition, and you know, in this, I think you have Man Child and Catch Me, if you could talk about that project.
Madam Monochrome came about because I actually went to Europe, and I had been on some, like, yo, I'm done with music. Like, I put out Man Child because I was planning to put it on this album, Technicolor Lover, that I've been working on forever. And I ended up, when I went to Europe, like, the response to my performance and to my music was so strong, it was very inspiring, and it made me say, you know, don't throw away Technicolor Lover, but also don't just throw it out there, you know, like, set it up with something. And so I had a lot of records that didn't make Technicolor Lover, and that had maybe been heard by a small fraction of folks that, you know, I felt like hadn't gotten the love it could have gotten. So, you know, I threw together Madam Monochrome just in the sense of, you know, people do want my music, and so let me give them something. And the sensibility is that, you know, people keep trying to tell me I gotta be a certain way, and I gotta be like one way, monochrome, and I'm never gonna be that, ever. So, you know, Madam Monochrome is the bridge to Technicolor Lover. Man Child is a record I did with Ski Beats, and my homegirl Terry Walker sings backgrounds on it. And, you know, it's just a real personal record about, you know, just cats who are living below their potential, you know, and you can't really, like, press nobody about that, you know. All you can do is kind of give them your thoughts and let them make decisions and hope that they get it together before it's too late, you know. And Catch Me is also a very personal record, but from a different standpoint. You know, it's just about, like, my frustration and love, you know, with hip-hop. And that's a topic that's definitely been broached a number of times. But, you know, for me, it's this feeling of, like, yo, like, I don't even know this music like I feel like I used to anymore, this culture, you know. Asking just, like, the rhetorical question of catch me, I'm falling out of love with it. But, you know, I don't think I'll ever completely be done.
Okay, fair enough. So what's next for Miss Diva?
We're working on a lot of things. You know, the DJing thing has really picked up, and I'm really, really, like, lucky and blessed and happy to get to play music for folks. Like, I know that may sound real corny, but I really love music. Like, music is what keeps me sane, you know? And I don't know if you heard the intro to the intro to Kendrick Lamar's Overly Dedicated. But
yes, part 2. I listened to that about once a day.
And he says, he's like, yo, I'm a pretty dark person, you know. I thought of ending it 100, you know, thousands of times, you know, but music keeps me here. And I'm like, brother, I feel you. You know, because people see me smiling all the time and everything, but the reality is artists, like, we do have this contrasting darkness about us that is a bitch. And a lot of times music ends up being that balance so that you don't have to take psychotropic drugs, you know? So I really love that I'm getting to play music for folks and see them get the same joy that I get, you know? So DJing has really been, and I'm loving that folks haven't been funny style with me DJing, you know? A lot of folks feel like, oh, everybody DJing now. But with me, I think there's been a sensibility of, like, well, I mean, that makes sense. So that's been dope. And along with that, you know, I'm working on a TV show about my comedy, you know, based on my comedy and my opinionated character that Nick Cannon is producing, so we're working on that. And you know, the big key right now is to just streamline everything. You know, I really am a true Renaissance woman, and they've been throwing that word around a lot lately. You know, we throw around the word epic, we throw around the word classic. We throw around the word hater, and I'm seeing Renaissance man or woman being just like willy-nilly these days, and it's insulting to folks who really do, you know, have to figure out how to vacillate into all these fields and not, you know, lose their minds. So, and not lose their pockets. So, you know, for me, it's definitely been about like getting a clear direction with folks and having them understand what's really going on, so that I don't have to, when people say, "What do?" say, "Google me." I don't want to have to say that, but you get tired of explaining it.
Straight up. Word to that.
But and then the art stuff, you know, the painting still continuing, and you know, there's just different facets that are going on, and just linking up with different brands. Me and Rocksmith are going to be doing a brunch during the summer at their store in Lower East Side, and I'm going to be DJing that, and you know, just staying busy and staying productive and giving y'all quality over just quantity. That's really the goal always. What up? It's Amanda Diva here on U Street, and I'm rocking with JUKEBOXDC.com. Holla.
I always do that.